Welcome to the Daniel Fast Cookbook Pre-Sale Case Study. I'm excited that you are here and I am looking forward to sharing these results with you. So let's dig in. And whether you're watching live or you're watching this on the recording, on the replay, let me know, have you done a pre-sale before and why or why not? And so you can drop that in the comments wherever you're viewing this from. And that just lets me know where people are and where we're going to go. Okay, so if you have done pre-sales before, okay, Sarah said that she has not because she just wasn't sure how. And okay, Jennifer said that she is hesitant. Okay, that's totally normal. So we'll talk about that further as well. All right, so I am Ashley and I'm the owner of Shep Publishing House, and I'll let you know a little bit more about me. And so I'm a wife of almost 10 years, a mom of 2, and as of last June, a full-time entrepreneur. And I'll tell you the details on that. And then I'm the owner of Shep Publishing House, where we help authors get from the page to the people with efficient and effective marketing strategies so they can get paid to publish. And then also I'm the owner of Chef Ashley Shep, which helps busy moms get dinner done faster with quick, healthy, and tasty meals. And so here are some places I've been featured. And so Medium, Voyage ATL, Disney, yes, the actual Disney, and then also on the YouVersion Bible app, and I'll talk about that as well. I have a gift for you. This is absolutely free, and so this is my pre-sale timeline cheat sheet. Often when people are doing pre-sales, they ask, okay, well, how do I know when I need to open my pre-sale? How do I know when I need to turn off my pre-sale? How long do I have to promote? When should I order my author copies? When can I ship my items? And so if that's a question that you have, go ahead and use your smartphone's smartphone's camera to be able to scan this QR code, and it will take you right to this cheat sheet, and it will help you to be able to plan out your pre-sale, because it's really easy to be unsure of these things if you've never done a pre-sale before. And so I wanted to make it something where it was easy to follow and also attainable for you to be able to use to plan out your pre-sale. Okay, and so this is the same QR code on the screen. And so those same questions: how big of an audience size do I need? Do I need to already have my editing done? These are questions that I find that most of my clients, or people who are potential clients or just followers, generally have when it comes to mapping out their pre-sale. So I wanted to put all of that in one space for you to be able to have it. And throughout this training, I will include other examples that you can use. So be sure to keep your phone handy to be able to scan the codes. All right, we are at the end of the case study, and I'm going to be sharing the results and lessons learned, as well as the software that I use to help make this almost 10K pre-sale happen. So let's refresh on the goals. These are ones that I shared in the first section of this case study. And so just as a refresher, my goals for this were to complete my first offset print order, meaning not using Amazon KDP to be able to print books, but to print them in bulk, to order 600 copies of my book. And so that cost was going to be $3,300. And that's because some of them had a situation, which I'll tell you about in a little bit. I ended up ordering less than 600, but we'll talk about it. And then I wanted to be able to use the book launch for a case study for Shep Publishing House, and here we are. So check that one, mission accomplished. And then collaborating with organizations and churches as well. And then to prove to myself that I still got it after having a baby, job loss, and just having an emotional time. And so generating a buzz was also a goal of mine, coming off of maternity leave, and generating leads, as well as generating additional revenue on top of that bulk print order. So the results are in, and from a monetary standpoint on the different sites, these are the results that I had for the cookbook pre-sale. So on Amazon KDP, I sold $3,522 there. That includes sales from the devotional and the cookbook, and I'll explain why I included them together. And then my website sales, I had a little over $3,800. And then speaking gigs and cooking demonstrations, that was a little over $2,300. And so the total for that was $9,600 and almost $9,700. And so after not having done a book launch for myself in 3 years, I've done it for clients since then, but not having done it for 3 years for myself after having a baby, battling, avoiding a repeat C-section, having a high-risk pregnancy, this just felt really good to be able to know, like, okay, girl, you still got it. So let's look deeper at the stats. So strategies that I use that I've mentioned in the previous portions of this case study is doing weekly live streams on multiple pages, and I'll show you the sites that I use for that. And then being able to re-engage my audience after a break, having that maternity leave break, and just being in a valley of having job loss and things like that. And using short form and long form social media content, so adding some variety in there on multiple platforms. Having a book launch party, using my testimony to do storytelling to keep people engaged, and then creating a book series on Amazon. So if you have more than one book that is similar, you can actually do something that ties them together on Amazon KDP, creating a series. So that way it is more easy for people to refer, or it's more easy for Amazon to refer your readers from one book to the other. And then the free Kindle download 5-day option. And if you are not familiar with that, then go ahead and make sure you watch the previous video in this case study. So the Amazon stats, I mentioned that I would explain why I chose to include the devotional and the cookbook. And because both of the books are heavily tied together and because they were referred back and forth, meaning that I have in each book, I have a page referring someone to the other book. And because they're on the same topic, I chose to include them both together. So during that time period, that November 25th through February 16th timeline, I received over 11,000 page reads from both books. And notice down here, this is a screenshot from my Amazon KDP account for page reads. Notice the difference. So the devotional is a little over 100 pages, and then the cookbook is a little over 200 pages. And this first one has been out for 3 years. This one just came out as a part of this presale. And this is just the ebook version. So notice, even in that short time period, they're still pretty close for a book that's relatively new. So I'm really excited to see what further results I'll have for the cookbook as time passes. There were 973 orders, so that includes those free digital downloads, which because they clicked the buy now for free, it counts it as an order. And there were no print book orders because at this time, and even to this day, the print book version for the cookbook is not on Amazon. I'm using Amazon Advantage to be able to add my premium paperback, premium hardcover, and spiral version onto Amazon for people to be able to purchase it that way. It looks the same to the customer, but I didn't use KDP for that. The ebook downloads, 375 of those were free downloads during that 5-day period. And then page reads total for the cookbook were a little over 4,800. Now, using Amazon KDP for the ebook was strategic, and it was not for a monetary purpose. I wanted to use it for bestseller status, hot new release status, and being able to get reviews before the physical copy of the book was available. So from that, because the book was free when I was getting those 300, almost 400 downloads, the royalties from that was $86 for the people who either got it before or after the free period or didn't use that option. And so for me, that was fine because I wanted to make it as a placeholder for people to leave reviews. And so through that, the bestseller status that I achieved on the ebook is having #1 bestseller in vegan diets, faith and spirituality, Christian faith, and then hot new release status on vegan diets, faith and spirituality, and Christian faith. And these stats were some that fluctuated because they change every hour. However, within the first 3 weeks, they still were within those bestseller statuses. So it wasn't just like it's up for an hour and it's done. Now on the devotional, so for this one, the print version was on Amazon. And so this one got 535 copies sold on Amazon. The ebook version was 38 copies. Page reads were a little over 6,200. And then the royalties were a little over 3,400 for the devotional. Okay, so highlights. Going back to those goals, So for the sales on my website, I was able to cover the print cost of the offset book order. It was $3,300 and I made $3,800. So that was beautiful because that means I got paid to publish as a self-published author. During this timeline, I also was featured in an article in Yahoo Finance that got syndicated to MSN, AOL, Go Banking Rates, and one other site. And it was about grocery shopping for big families. And so that was another thing I could share to position myself and show authority in the space of food. And then a cool highlight was that I was able to get my first sale on TikTok. After doing that, I'm doing the Daniel fast. Of course I'm blah, 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 that video. And so the reason why that's even more exciting is because I didn't have my TikTok shop set up. And so someone had to literally leave TikTok to go to my site to go purchase the book. And so that was pretty cool. Okay, more highlights. That Bible plan that I mentioned before that I had set up a year before the book came out, hit 10,000 subscribers for the Daniel Fast Jumpstart on the Bible app. And then overall, I reached 5,000 books sold from all of my books since becoming an author a little over 3 years ago. And then, as mentioned before, those bestseller statuses from the ebook is always fun to have as well. Now, on the agency side for Shut Publishing House, I was able to share ideas with my audience of what they could do to publish their books, which is always a great way. Maybe you're new to me, but I am a teacher at heart. I have an education background and also am coming out of the education space to educate authors. And so as a self-publishing coach and book marketing strategist, it's always great for me to be able to share what I'm doing to be able to help others do the same thing. And so one of the things that I was able to do is to create more content, and this video here that you can scan the QR code using your smartphone to take a look at is showing how overthinking almost cost me $360 in 48 hours and then $580 in 14 days. And that's when I was debating whether or not to put up the PDF version of the cookbook on my site while I was waiting for the physical copies of the books to arrive. And I'm glad that I did because, as it's shown, those are the stats that I did within that short timeline. Tip for you, find ways to wow your customers. And it doesn't have to be expensive to have an impact. So here's an example from my cookbook that I've mentioned in this case study. And here we have meal plans. And so most cookbooks don't have meal plans, first off. Second of all, this one is a multi-part meal plan, meaning that if you're somebody who wants to have everything filled in, then you can just use this one and use the grocery shopping list on the next page. Or if you're someone who doesn't like to be locked in, then you can use this one and you're able to fill in those other spaces with any of the over 50 recipes from the cookbook. And so this was strategic for me to be able to include this as a feature that differentiated my book from other cookbooks because most of them don't have things like that. All right, here's another client spotlight with Vanity Hill Scott. She is an author of multiple children's books that focus on faith and family, and she did an offset bulk book order for board books, and she was able to put money towards that from her presale by making $600 in presales through social media marketing and collaborations. In this section, we're going to talk about the vendors that I used for my cookbook launch. And so we have Ecamm, which is what I use to multi-stream, and that means that I can go live to YouTube, my Facebook business pages, both pages at the same time, my personal Facebook page. You can do LinkedIn. They have tons of streaming platforms that are on there that you can connect to go live from, and it makes it so that you're able to schedule them out as well. And then Vistaprint I use to order stickers, insert cards, and thank you cards. Kartra, this is my email platform to send out emails, create sales pages, meaning where the pre-sale was hosted for people to buy. I can use analytics from my email that you saw some screenshots for in the section where we talk about email marketing. Coupon codes for the books is also, those are all hosted on Kartra, my book bonus website, the printable PDF version. Pretty much it's a one-stop shop. And so I could have also hosted, you can do webinars on there. They have a lot of resources. And then social media, That's where I hosted those short and long form video content. Meta Business Suite, you can schedule posts and tracking analytics. That's where I was tracking my Facebook and Instagram analytics. And then for shipping packages, Shippo and Pirate Ship were the two sites that I used. Then for graphics, I used Canva, and I also did some light video editing in there. For contractors and my virtual assistant, I used Upwork to connect with them. For Fiverr, I did use that for contractors as well for one-off smaller jobs. And then for my offset printer, that is who I ordered the books from. I don't share my actual offset printer. I reserve that for myself and my clients. However, I do offer recommendations for other options as well if you're interested in those. And so I was able to order hardcover, premium paperback, and spiral versions on glossy coated paper to have them for the type of book that I wanted. Then Amazon, I ordered shipping boxes and mailers, meaning things to mail my books in, label paper, as well to be able to print out the labels, and then sticky flags, my cross paper clips, things like that. Then Amazon KDP, I uploaded the Kindle version and the free download promotion on there as well. Staples for packing tape, permanent markers, sticky brand for those faith-based waterproof stickers, and then I already had my MacBook and a printer. All right, so here we have my youngest helping out with orders. And so this next section is going to talk about things that are important to focus on or important things to remember, think about during your pre-sale process. And so keeping your audience informed and engaged is huge. So making them aware, letting them know that this is what's happening. And during my pre-sale process, my books were staying stagnant in the FedEx warehouse overseas, and I was not getting any updates for dates. They would be scanned, but it's just like, we're scanned and chilling out right here. And so keeping my audience in the loop is what helped them to not request refunds because they were aware of what was going on. They knew where the books were. They knew that I wasn't scamming them because I was keeping them in the loop. And so even though I was panicking because I'm like, I want to get these books to people, they were fine. And so someone even said, don't even worry about it. It's fine. Like, we get it. And because they had already had the digital copy of the cookbook, because I sent it to them when they ordered, they also could already use it. So it wasn't like they weren't without the item. So if you can include that, that's a great strategy. And that was helpful for them because then they could already start cooking the recipes if they started their Daniel fast before the book got to them. So lessons learned. Though this was my third pre-sale, there were things that I did differently. And things that I won't do again, or things that I know I should do now. And so giving grace to myself. I tend to be somebody who's a high achiever, and one of my friends had to remind me that, girl, you birthed a baby and a cookbook in the same year. And that's a lot. And so there were times where I was like stressed about certain things and had to really stop myself and think, okay, it'll get done. Like, and if we need help, we'll get the help. And I do have an assistant. And at the time of this, I had two virtual assistants. One was helping with design. The other one's helping with a lot of other things. And so just budgeting an additional time for delays. So the unexpected shipping delay that took an extra week for the books to get to me, or there was an issue with the ebook and it wasn't processing properly when uploading it to Amazon, and it was an error that I've never seen before, even though I've uploaded tons of ebooks to Amazon. And then taking into account things like Chinese New Year approaching, and so just giving yourself extra buffers of time are always helpful. And then I made the assumption that my proof would take as long to get here as the expedited order of books, which was about 100 books, 150 books. And that was not very smart. However, it worked out and it was okay. And then the TikTok reel with the trend, that brought in a lot of engagement to my page. And when I was doing the trend, I was like, oh, this trend's already over. I don't even know if I should do it. And I'm glad that I did, because at this point to date, that trend has gotten 50,000, or that video has gotten 50,000 views. And I even reposted the video, and that one's up to 20,000 views. And so it's something where if you think the trend's over, just try the trend, because worst case scenario, you can just hide the video. So this is the video I'm talking about. And this was within the first few days that it got 11,000 views and almost 900 likes. And so my regret from this is not having my TikTok shop available and open before I posted this video, because on TikTok shop at the time of this recording, on TikTok, you can't go back and edit your videos. So I can't go back and link my book to this video because they don't allow that. And so had I done that, I can't even, I don't even know how many books would have been sold, but it was a missed opportunity. However, because I didn't have the books available, because you have to have them essentially when you are putting it on TikTok shop, because your shipping time is 2 days, 2 business days. So I couldn't have put it on there anyway, but had I waited until I got the books, the trend could have been over. So, which it likely would have been over with the timeline. So it's okay, but it's just learning for the future. And then another thing is writing down the hashtags that I use and the keywords that I use in the video. So you can't pull like if you're using SEO on social media where you put words on the screen, and sometimes people put them off to the side, you can't go look at those again. So on videos that did well, I didn't always have a tracking of what was the SEO keywords on them. Additional lessons learned is that I should have set up my abandoned cart emails ahead of time. I totally forgot about those, and those are emails that somebody has clicked on the sales page but they haven't ordered, so encouraging them to order, maybe giving them a coupon code, things like that. So once I realized that, I turned them on. I went ahead and scheduled that out. And then I wish I would have set up more things ahead of time, so that way I would be able to focus more on the launch. So such as my text messaging system, I just gave up on it because it was too complicated, the one that I was going to use. And then I wish I would have set up my A+ content ahead of time. I did outsource it, so that was helpful. And then revamping my A+ content for the devotional. I wish I would have done that ahead of time too. Now, points for you to remember, or points for you to consider had you not thought about them. Think about international workers. If you're going to be using them, if you're going to be using international workers, think about their time zones. So my virtual assistant, she's halfway across the world. So when it's nighttime here, it's daytime there. And so that can cause a little bit of a delay that I hadn't always accounted for. And things always take longer than you expect. And so give additional time for that, whatever the thing is. Create buffers, add extra time. Check, and recheck your files again. Because like I said, there was an issue with Amazon and uploading my files, which that issue had never happened before. And I've worked with dozens of books at this point. And then plan for those issues. Originally, I had ordered 600 copies of the cookbooks, but there was an issue with the printer where the thing that does the spiral wasn't all the way aligned. So 150 of the spiral cookbooks were not able to be spiraled. And so thankfully, I hadn't already promised those to anybody as a part of the pre-sale. I had ordered enough extra spiral, so I still had extra, so it was fine. And then my printer will just credit me for the next order. So, and so that was not, I'm sorry, she refunded me for that portion, so I didn't have to pay that portion. And then testing out your shipping. So this is something I do and I recommend, to test out your shipping options to make sure that you have the right weight. So you're getting a postal scale or taking it to the post office is always a great idea. Okay, so our last tip is not to forget to update your previous books to recommend new books or add new ways to connect. So this is from the cookbook. This is a screenshot of a page. I've also included this page or similar page to this in the devotional. So that way people are able to see, okay, well, now there's a cookbook. And then if they're in the cookbook, oh, there's a devotional. And then also I've linked them to the Bible plan, so that way they can check that out as well if they need a free resource to help them. So these are some of the success stories that I have shared with you during this case study of clients who have done pre-sales and had wonderful success of either making money from their pre-sales, making 4 figures from their pre-sales, covering costs for bulk print orders, and just letting you know that if it's possible for them, then it's possible for you. And so if you're interested in learning how to get paid to publish, I want to introduce you to my Get Paid to Publish. If you were to have me do this launch for you, then the price would be $99.97. But you can learn how to do it yourself with guidance. So that way you're not having to fumble and figure things out, because you have the templates and you have me. So here's a reminder: after checking out the walkthrough, you can either choose the full system, or if you're someone who just needs the templates, then those are available as well. And so you'll get admission to the Get Paid to Publish pre-sale 30-day intensive. And then you'll also get the book bundle guide to be able to map out your presale. This includes social media post wording, social media post templates, email templates for your shopping cart, things like that. You'll get the audio and video replay to be able to see it all at once if that's your style. And then I'm also including bonuses such as the website wording, so that way you can cut down on questions from your buyers. And for the first 5 folks that sign up, I'm including a fast action bonus which includes a one-on-one session with me to be able to map out your presale. Then, once again, as mentioned before, if you just need the templates and you don't need the accountability that comes with the 30-day intensive, 30-day time with me, 30 days of time working with me, then you can grab those templates here as well. So go ahead and scan this code or click the link in the description to be taken to the page to check out.